What's up, squad? It's your Squid, aka the Anxious Squid, here at Anxious Squid Productions. Thanks for tuning back in to all of my regulars. This is going to be a video for my new playlist, which is the AFL playlist. If you're not one of my new subscribers and you saw the title in your thumbnail and you're thinking it's some foreign person reacting to Aussie rules, I'm sorry to disappoint you. I am Australian born, I grew up in Australia, I'm an American immigrant, I've been here about a year. Most of my reactions, as you'll see if you click on through to my channel and on the playlist and stuff, are to American sports, but I miss the Aussie rules, I miss the AFL, so this playlist is just more going to be an introduction to my subscribers to the AFL, if that makes sense, you know, for my subscribers to the AFL. Not so much me reacting to AFL, because I've got a pretty good knowledge of it, I reckon. But yeah, anyway, I'll stop blabbing about it. These are my patrons, they're the bee's knees, they're awesome, big shout out to them. Please consider becoming one if you like me. Feel free to disagree with me in the comments section. If you think I'm telling people the wrong thing, correct me. You know, flame me in the comments, because it drives my engagement and more people watch my shit anyway. So yeah, let's get on with it, shall we? Alright guys, thanks for tuning back in. I have two videos synced up for us to watch, so hopefully they'll just play one after the other and I've done it right. The first one's going to be called What Is AFL? Aussie Rules Explained, so hopefully that'll be pretty straightforward. It's a 5-minute video, gives you the quick run around of the sport. I'll add bits and pieces if I feel it's necessary. After that though, I've got a video, I think it's from Vice, right, where it's analytics, about the analytics in the AFL, which is, I got into the NFL a lot quicker and learned a little bit more about the NFL by looking at all the different stats and what the stats meant and which positions did what things to affect what stats and all that sort of stuff. So I figured maybe, you know, we could reverse engineer that and you guys could learn that way with AFL as well. So hopefully it works. Let's do it.
It's got running. Now they're starting to run. It's got kicking.
Everyone's got an how to kick. That was Dustin Fletcher. He played till he was like 60 years old. Not 60, but he was like 38 or 39 or something. I'll shut up, sorry. Go back.
It's got bone-on-bone hits without pads.
So like, there's no defense or offense. It's just everyone that's on the field is on the field. 18 players on the field, 4 on the bench, and yeah, that the people can interchange. There's a cap on how many interchanges, but it's so ridiculously high. You can be changing pretty much every 1 or 2 minutes. You can use it as a strategic thing as well. But yeah, it's 18 on the field. Roughly, like they don't follow these guides anymore, but it's roughly, if you picture an oval, I might put a graphic there, I might not if I, you know, depends if I remember while I'm editing. But yeah, if you picture an oval, there's like 6 forwards, 6 defenders, roughly 6 people in the middle of the ground, 4 in the center, 2 on the wings, and you know, flip it and reverse it. Your defenders are down here, your offenders are up here. Flip it and reverse it for the other team. Your defenders play on the offenders. You know, defense plays on forwards, etc., etc.
It's not rugby. It's Australian football, although you might hear it called Aussie rules or even footy. This is Australia's biggest sport and is now played professionally by 18 teams in the AFL.
Go the Giants.
It's the 4th highest average attendance of any domestic sports league in the world. These are some
Eddie Betts, he was fucking awesome. He's awesome. Hasn't retired yet.
Aussie rules is played on a football.
I won't put the graphic up. There we go.
Bigger than any you've ever seen, with an egg-shaped ball that takes some crazy bounces.
That was not deliberate, obviously, but it worked out for him.
18 players on the field and 4 on the bench.
I should have just shut up.
Tremendous athletes. These players are basketball-sized, with the hands and foot speed of an NFL
Joe Danaher
and stamina greater than
Lewis
a soccer player.
Cyril Rioli chasing him. That was in a grand final in 2012.
The game starts with a center bounce, a bit like a basketball jump ball. The basic object of the game, like American football, is to move the ball down the field and score.
You gotta bounce it every 15 yards or so. 15 meters, but I'm saying yards because you're mostly American.
You move the ball 3 ways. Running, but you have to bounce it every 16 yards.
16 yards, there we go, 15 meters.
Using your fist to hit it forward.
That guy's fucking huge.
This is called a handball, another skill unique to Aussie rules.
It's not difficult. Once you get the hang of it, comes muscle memory.
And of course, the most common way is kicking it.
Good grab. Just one grab, that was Delidio. Who took the mark.
Like a quarterback using feet instead of hands, these guys can hit a teammate on the run at 50 yards.
That they can.
If the kick is a little high, a player may have to jump and make a spectacular catch. This is called a
Specky. It's a mark whether they catch it, as long as they catch it on the full, it's a mark. A specky or a spectacular mark is where they've climbed on some motherfucker to take the grab.
And believe it or not, you can use the opponent as a springboard for jumping. If you take a mark, you can keep going, or you can stop on the spot and take an unimpeded kick. Glorious kick! Once in scoring position, the idea is
Patrick Dangerfield, one of the best players.
Large upright posts. That's a goal and worth 6 points.
You can go on the ground or in the air as long as the last thing it touched is your foot. That's one.
Or send it between the big post and the outer lower post, it's worth 1 point and is called a behind. A final score line might look something like this.
20 goals, 10 behinds, 130. So 20 times 6 plus 10 points, 130. 18 times 6 plus 12 points, 120.
Defenders defend. Forwards go forward.
Jack Rewell, one of the best in the game as well.
Play in midfield.
Chad Roughhead, an absolute thoroughbred. Fucking good at everything he does. Doesn't matter if you want him to do what you want him to do, he'll be the best on the ground at it.
Gives off here to Suckling. Suckling with a low belter.
Players come in all shapes and sizes. The Fremantle Dockers have 5'8" Hayden Ballantyne.
Such a fucking pest.
Nate Fife.
One of the best players in the game.
Aaron Sandilands.
One of the best ruckmen in the game in his heyday. He's old now though.
But not too high.
He's just fucking huge.
It has to be between the shoulders and the knees.
Shoulders and the knees. Can't land in their back either. It's in the back. So you got to do what he did, which is sort of like grab them, but then as you're coming down, make them land on you.
And the knees.
So he's got him, and he could easily just drive him face first into the dirt, but he has to sort of like pull up, because it won't be, otherwise it'll be a free.
Time is added on for stoppages of play. The extra time can be as much as 10 additional minutes. AFL teams play 22 regular season games. The top 8 teams make the playoffs, or as they're called in Australia, the finals. Eventually, 2 teams meet in the championship.
This must be made in like fucking 2013 or something.
It's Australia's Super Bowl and is played every year in the magnificent Melbourne Cricket Ground in front of 90,000.
It's a fucking coliseum, man.
It's a big deal.
I was there in 2012, which I think this might be, and there were 101,000 people there, standing room only. And when shit happened, like when lots of people were cheering, the whole fucking place was shaking, man. Like it was legitimately next level, you know, like it was. And I mean, I don't need to tell Americans about next level stuff. Every sporting event I've been to in this country has been like next level huge, as if it was a grand final, you know what I mean? Like a Rangers game at Madison Square Garden, oh, fuck me, I defy you. Like if you go into that building as a neutral observer, you're coming out of that building as a Rangers fan. But anyway, I'm just, I'm getting distracted now. Oh, one of the best as well. Oh, big whack. His dad was a good player as well, Will Langford.
Any questions? Check us out at afl.com.au.
Alright, so yeah, any questions, check me out in the comments section. I'll try and answer them. And then this is the second video I had synced up, so about the analytics. Hopefully you guys will be able to follow.
Smothered by Greek, Bruce Cole, all up, Brown.
The numbers game. This might be a bit too intense, but we'll see.
They probably don't understand what depth we actually get into for clubs and what data we have available that they never get to see. 18 players on the field for each team at all times. Everyone can do anything, the ball can go anywhere. So it's a very dynamic game to analyse. The quantity of data is far greater in AFL than any other sport.
He's got a punchable face, doesn't he? That little...
A lot of it is nerve-wracking if it's a really big game.
I'm sure he's a nice
Coaches
guy.
make bad decisions based off bad data, so it's just making sure...
It's not his fault he's got a punch face.
A lot of it is nerve-wracking if it's a really big game. The coaches make bad decisions based off bad data, so it's just making sure that everything's right.
2013 says Sunday football is ready to roll here at the MCG. It's Hawthorn, the red-hot favourites.
Dennis Committee on the right there. Here, we'll go back actually. Should have gone back 5 seconds. I really gotta fucking edit that.
Football is ready to roll here at the MCG. It's Hawthorn, the
Alright, so there's Nick Rewalt on the left there. He's a former champion, played for St Kilda, never won a competition, like never won a Super Bowl, but absolute champion player. Never won a grand final, you know what I'm saying, I'm trying to equate it to you. Lee Matthews, that's the guy in the middle there. Potentially, possibly, it's up for debate these days with Gary Ablett Jr. and like fucking Chris Judd and like multiple Brownlow medal winning players, you know, in the modern era. Sort of like, if I can make a basketball equivalency, that guy in the middle there, Lee Matthews, is a Wilt Chamberlain, whereas, you know, people talk these days, oh, is Michael Jordan the best, or is LeBron James the guy that's playing, you know, but the O-fucking-G, Lee Matthews, he was the best player, and he's still widely considered by a lot of AFL fans, especially the older guard, as the best player to ever play. He's certainly one of the best coaches, he was in his heyday anyway, he won 3 premierships in a row when he coached the Brisbane Lions, he's a fucking sitcom. Let's just settle that. Yeah, he's a legend. And then the guy on the right, Dennis Cometti, I don't actually know if he ever played. I've never looked into it. He's been a commentator for as long as I've been alive, and he's one of the best, you know. He's the one that, in a previous AFL video I told you about, I snuck up on him like a librarian. That's Dennis Cometti. He's your guy. If you've got, like, if somebody had a gun to your head and they said, one commentator to call this Super Bowl winning play, and he has to add to it. It can't be better. It can't be worse, you know. He can't fucking make the play less entertaining. He has to make it more entertaining. If somebody had a gun to my head, I would pick Dennis Cometti to make that fucking happen, you know what I mean? That would be an odd circumstance. No, I don't think anyone would ever put a gun to your head and say, pick a fucking commentator to commentate for your life. But if they did, Dennis Cometti would be the guy I picked.
Based off bad data, so it's just making sure.
Or Bruce McAvaney. That's a hard one.
Football is ready to roll here at the MCG. It's Hawthorn, the red-hot favourites, against the Tigers.
I work for Hawthorn Football Club in the AFL, as well as for my own consultancy ranking software. Over time, the demands for detail...
They never look like athletes, do they, the numbers guys?
in the coaching community and certainly in the media.
Data comes across all sorts of media. The coaches talk about it in a press conference. The radio commentators refer to the stats the whole way through the broadcast, as do the TV commentators, as do the fans, and the fantasy fans as well.
I love fantasy and trying to predict the next best of players. A lot of people I play with I have an unfair advantage because I watch 7 games a week, watch the TAC Cup, so picking all the best kids, and we love playing fantasy as much as anyone.
This is my spreadsheet, or at least the first page of it, with the top 50 odd players on it.
I'm sure you guys get into fantasy football as well.
Spreadsheet based on gut feel, injuries, especially what position they're playing.
Yeah, I go through a spreadsheet. I have a little pre-season one, which I do the pre-season stats for.
I thought it was all up here, mate.
Yeah, it is.
That's what he says. He just goes, oh, it's all up here. I don't know. What do I need that for? Right.
The anticipation builds as the game gets closer, which is a great experience for you guys. A little bit of nerves, I know there's a few players out there that are new, especially for Richmond and for Hawthorn, so I just want to make sure I get those right.
Start of every game, you run through a banner with your team song playing. Banners are generally have something witty on it, like can't remember what it was. Like the Western Bulldogs won against the Giants a couple of years ago. It said something like, you know, because the Giants are an expansion club that the AFL funded for, or has been funding for most of its existence, if not all, you know. It said something like, we were born from blood and sweat, you were born in a fucking corporate office or something like that. I can't remember. It was nice and it rhymed and it was clever, you know. But there are a whole bunch of butthurt Giants fans, and then it created like a banner war between the 2 cheer squads, which are volunteer fan groups, you know what I mean? And yeah, it's a quirk of the game, you know what I mean?
Segway it out. Miles, keep playing clearance, kick long or rebound, contest, Martin, crumb hard, handball, Griffin. So you've got the main caller, which is the person who watches the game live at the ground with the binoculars and calls the main stats. Sampson hit out. Sharks. Zerioli, hard handball. Sitting next to them is their support and the IT person, so they help out the media and listen to the umpires. Matchups behind them, they at all times will figure out who's playing on who, where everyone's playing. And then we've got an interchange operator as well. We record who's on and who's off. We all have almost perfect AFL player ID, so we all know exactly who everyone is in the AFL. Anderson and Segler. Brand kick backwards, Stratton mark, play on. Crumb hard handball, Hamlin. Roost receive handball, tackle by Rand.
It's gonna be a fucking hard gig. Literally every single thing that happens.
Mitchell, Giopolo, Hodge, Drummond, Crumb loose.
Need a sort of person, you know what I mean? Like
10:30. This is the engine room really of Champion Data. This is where we capture every stat, every action that happens in football around the country.
good effort.
In the bunker, we have 5 roles. Back caller, that's the person who listens to the ground caller's call and just double checks everything they say. All the basic stats go in through the keyboarder. They probably put in over 5,000 stats a game.
Ooh, that's some quick mouse movement.
Graphical operator.
Probably be hotkeys.
We plot exactly where it happens on the ground, and then the other 2 roles on the end are the pressure capture and the pressure caller. All the basic stats, they take it to the next level. So that's your pressure on disposals, where people are trying to kick with, what foot they're trying to kick to.
Teams started winning games by pressuring the opposition, and we didn't have a measure for pressure, and the clubs asked us, how do we measure pressure? So we've come up with pressure acts, which are recorded live through the game.
So that gives an extra layer of the data. The
Far out, these guys are nerds.
that was really driven by the clubs.
Amazing though, like driven by the clubs, and they just gave them, yep, yeah, sure, there's data for that.
Based around the enhanced data.
Over time, we develop more and more simple displays of the data that
I don't mean nerd as a pejorative, like fucking
and just
top shit guys.
in front of the coach that he should be looking at right now. There's a lot of power for the user to set up a view that reflects what they want and the coaches want.
I really enjoy watching a game of football. Obviously, I've got the numbers there. You're talking with someone about the game, and you might mention what a great game this player played, and it's always in reference to the stats.
The way fantasy sports has used statistics and particularly driven the recognition of players and styles of their play has been a terrific thing.
As a footy fan,
Certainly adds an element,
when a
yeah.
bloke shepherds or taps a ball on, or is a defender punching the ball away constantly all game, and you walk away from the footy and you go, gee, that guy played a blinder, but then he's
got no touches, yeah.
Score. They are trying.
That used to be my
incorporate all of those little things.
like when I played as a defender. I grew up playing as a defender for while I was young, and then when I was 16, I was pretty much this big. I was one of the biggest kids, and then I stopped growing. But I went forward, and I was playing as a forward as well. But one of my pet hates when I played as a defender was like I could get my team, like the guy I was defending against, could not get a touch that whole game, right? And I'd come off, and people would be like, "Oh, you didn't touch the ball the whole game," and it's like, yeah, no shit, that's not my job. Like, my job isn't to touch the fucking ball. My job's to stop that cunt from touching the ball, and I did it. Like, I stopped that guy getting the ball more than you actually got the ball. Anyway, defence first is always a good mindset, but then I went forward and kicked a fucking bag of goals that year, so that was cool as well.
The more of that stuff that they can fit in, the more accurate representation the numbers are of the actual ability of the player.
We've already come a long way, but in terms of the future, we have access to every single player's tracking data live throughout the match as well.
Yeah, they wear like GPS things in the back of their jersey.
If you pop that into a visualization through virtual reality, you can actually pick you want to be Cyril Rioli today or Sam Mitchell, and you can actually watch the game from that point of view.
That's cool.
Every action that the player has with the ball or with the player that's holding the ball being monitored, dissected, graded for quality. You want to know exactly where they are at all times, where the ball is, and from that you can build up a picture of which patterns of play are more effective or less effective.
It's been a thumping win for the Hawks.
Byron, picture, goal, end quarter, end match.
You actually feel like you know more than someone who just goes along to a game and just sits there and watches and enjoys it. You know, the fact that you've got the stats at your fingertips as well, you do feel empowered with that knowledge.
There's going to be an explosion of insight from what have previously been amateurs, or maybe in their day job they're accountants, or they are data scientists, or just enthusiasts who've grown up with the numbers.
So you don't remember not having technology?
Well, that would be my point.
Yeah.
My point is that I only got into it because of the stats. You know, that was the connection for me. The data, because it is so readily available, it allows you to become that coach or that statistician.
it gives you a far greater interest in games that you wouldn't normally watch. But now you just get so much more information. You've just got so much more access.
Yeah,
The competition is great. The social aspect is great.
What do we have? Maybe 10 people in the first year or something like that, and now it's grown to 16.
And connecting just on the sport at that next level, I guess, makes it really interesting. And yeah, it's fun.
Nice.
The depth that Champion Data actually goes into isn't often publicised in the media. We capture everything, and if you know how our numbers work, and you know the right questions to ask, you can answer any questions. It's just the amount that we have and the accuracy of it is what excites me.
If you know the right questions to ask, you can answer any question. Surely it doesn't matter if you know the right questions then. That's confusing. But anyway, no, that was cool. That's AFL. If you have any questions, let me know, obviously. But yeah, no, I dig the Giants. I grew up digging the Swans, but then the Giants came in as an expansion team. I knew it was very data rich. I didn't know it was quite that data rich. Those guys are cool. They all serve a purpose. They're amazing. I wasn't being slack when I was calling them nerds. I'm sure they know they're nerds. Like old mate said, you know, the stats are why he's into it, not the sport sort of thing. So it is what it is. But yeah, I'm going to show you some best of the decade stuff for this AFL playlist. Best goals, best marks, best stuff, right? So we'll get to that, and I'm going to write a list eventually of all the players like I do with my other playlists and stuff. But if this is the first time you've stumbled across me, right, big thank you, big shout out to my regulars, obviously, big shout out to my patrons. They're awesome. They're the bee's knees. Yeah, that's right, I said the bee's knees. But yeah, please consider hitting the subscribe button, hitting that like button. Don't forget to hit the like button because it means I get out there more. But yeah, if this is the first time you've stumbled across me, I'm an American immigrant. I've been here about a year, grew up in Australia. This playlist and these AFL videos are intended for me to teach my subscriber base, which are mostly American, about Aussie rules. So if you're an Australian watching for some foreigner reacting to Australian rules for the first time, that's not what this is. So soz about it and whatnot. And if you think I talk too much, soz, that's what I do as well. But yeah, I'm going to keep filming. I'll see you guys when I look at you. You'll see me when you look at me. Thanks for watching.